You ever notice how some people achieve something big and you only find out months later? They got the promotion, they finished the degree, they launched the project, and somehow you hear about it like it's yesterday's weather. Oh yeah, that happened a while ago. No dramatic announcement, no celebratory post, no victory lap, just quiet. Maybe that's you. Maybe you've hit milestones and immediately felt this strange urge to shrink them, to tuck them away, to say, it's not a big deal, even when objectively it kinda is. So what's happening there? Why do some people celebrate loudly, while others treat their wins like fragile glass they'd rather keep in a drawer? There's a psychology behind keeping your victories private, and it's rarely about modesty alone. Let's unpack what might really be going on. First, there's the self-protective achiever. Picture someone who works hard in silence. They stay late, they overthink, they revise, they question themselves more than anyone else ever could. When success finally arrives, it doesn't feel triumphant. It feels relieving. And relief doesn't always want an audience. For this person, sharing a win feels risky, because once you announce it, people are watching, expectations rise, the bar moves higher. Now you're not just someone who succeeded once, you're someone who has to keep succeeding. And that's pressure. Psychologically, this ties into performance-based self-worth. If your value feels connected to achievement, then success becomes something you must defend. Public wins invite comparison. Comparison invites scrutiny. Scrutiny threatens safety. So staying quiet feels like control. No spotlight, no added weight, just you and your steady progress. Does that resonate? Do you sometimes downplay success, not because you're humble, but because you don't want the responsibility of being the successful one? Then there's the privacy protector. This person doesn't just keep wins private, they keep most of their inner life private. Promotions, relationships, new plans, they hold it all close. Why? Because to them, achievement isn't content, it's personal territory. For some people, success feels sacred. It represents effort no one saw, struggles no one witnessed, doubts no one helped carry. Sharing it publicly can feel like exposing something that was built in solitude. And psychologically, this often connects to strong internal boundaries. People who are deeply private sometimes equate visibility with vulnerability. If others know too much about what matters to you, they have access to it. Access can mean support, but it can also mean judgment, envy, unsolicited advice. So the win stays quiet. It's not about secrecy, it's about sovereignty. Maybe you don't want applause. Maybe you want peace. Another profile is the Anticipatory Minimizer. This one is subtle. They achieve something impressive and immediately start shrinking it. It wasn't that hard. Anyone could have done it. I just got lucky. It almost sounds polite, but underneath, there's something else happening. This mindset often develops in environments where standing out felt unsafe. Maybe success attracted criticism. Maybe praise came with strings attached. Maybe shining too brightly triggered tension. So the nervous system learned, keep it small. Even now, as an adult, part of you anticipates backlash. You don't consciously think, if I share this, someone will attack me. But your body remembers moments when visibility felt uncomfortable. So you soften the win before anyone else can. You minimize to stay connected, to avoid social friction, to maintain equilibrium. And here's the twist. Sometimes the person most uncomfortable with your success is you. Because success can shift identity. If you've always seen yourself as the one still figuring it out, what happens when you figure something out? If you've been the underdog, what happens when you're no longer behind? Keeping wins private can preserve a familiar self-image. It's strange, isn't it? Growth can feel destabilizing. Then there's the internal validator. This person doesn't need an audience because the reward happened internally. The satisfaction was in the doing, the mastery, the process. When they accomplish something, they register it quietly. Maybe a small smile, maybe a deep breath. Maybe they move on to the next goal before anyone else even notices the first. Their dopamine spike came from effort, not applause. Psychologically, this reflects intrinsic motivation. Some people are wired or conditioned to value competence over recognition.
External praise feels nice, but not necessary. Sometimes it even feels awkward. Compliments might create a subtle discomfort, like wearing clothes that don't quite fit, so they skip the whole exchange. But here's the nuance. Even intrinsically motivated people still need acknowledgement. Humans are social. We're wired for shared joy. The difference is that they prefer recognition from a small, trusted circle or from themselves. They don't want noise. They want meaning. And finally, there's the fear-of-jinxing mindset. You've probably felt this one. You achieve something, and instead of celebrating, a quiet thought whispers, "Don't say it out loud yet," as if speaking it might undo it. This isn't literal superstition for most people. It's psychological caution. When you've experienced instability, sudden loss, unexpected setbacks, plans falling apart, you learn not to trust good things too quickly. So you wait. You let the success settle. You observe it quietly. You make sure it's real before inviting others into it. Because if it disappears, fewer people saw it. Less explaining, less embarrassment, less emotional whiplash. Keeping wins private becomes emotional insurance. Now here's something interesting. In a culture that rewards visibility, that treats milestones as public announcements, staying quiet can look like indifference. But it's rarely indifference. It's protection. It's boundary. It's identity management. It's nervous system strategy. Sometimes it's humility. Sometimes it's fear. Often it's both. And none of these types are right or wrong. The real question is this. Are you keeping your wins private because it feels aligned or because it feels safer? There's a difference. Alignment feels calm, intentional, grounded. Safety-driven silence feels tense, guarded, slightly contracted. So think about the last time something good happened to you. Did you share it? Did you shrink it? Did you celebrate it alone? Did you pretend it didn't matter? What were you protecting? Your peace? Your image? Your relationships? Your vulnerability? Maybe you're the self-protective achiever. Maybe the privacy protector. Maybe the anticipatory minimizer. Maybe the internal validator. Maybe a mix of all of them, depending on the season of your life. The point isn't to suddenly broadcast every success. It's to understand why you don't. Because once you see the pattern, you get a choice. You can still be private, but you won't be hiding from yourself. So which type feels closest to you? And when was the last time you let yourself fully feel a win without shrinking it, explaining it, or bracing for impact? If this reflection landed somewhere personal, sit with it. And if you want to explore more of these quiet patterns we carry, the subtle habits that shape our inner life, stay curious. There's always more beneath the surface.